Welcome everyone. We're here for the street naming dedication, and let us begin with the word of prayer. Dear God, we come before you thanking you, Lord, even for the rain, because we know that the storms bring about the flowers and the foliage. So today, as we rename this street for the first black mayor of Orange, New Jersey, we ask your blessings upon each of us, our homes, our families, upon our mayor and this great city. And we will continue to give you all the glory, all the honor, and all the praise. In Jesus' mighty and matchless name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pastor, lead us in the please stand, lift every voice and sing.
Lift every voice and sing. Earth and heaven ring with the harmony of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling seas. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won.
Amen.
Thank you, Brother John. Thank you. You may be seated. Good afternoon. I am Mayor Dwayne Warren, City of Orange Township. We come today because we're naming a street out of a legendary person who served in office in the City of Orange Township, Robert Brown. I'm looking in the audience, and many of you know him as a colleague, as a friend, as a brother, as an employer. I know him as a friend and a mentor. He did not stop with giving advice and making sure we're on the right path and being guided in a proper way. And I'll forever be in his debt for how I developed as a lawyer, as a father, and certainly as a mayor of the City of Orange Township. And so today it comes to us, we've done a lot of street namings and we've honored a lot of people in this town, but the guy who broke history, the guy who was applauded everywhere was Bookie Brown, because he was the first African American to be the mayor of this town. It was a place where blacks couldn't go everywhere. They couldn't go into places where he lived. And he sought to make it right. He equalized this town. He put people in places where they hadn't served before. And so we're grateful for his legacy. As the mayor, I recognize that we can't do anything without a full and united government. And around me are council people who I want to call up to say a word, because they too worked with Bookie Brown and made sure that they got some input on his day and the time that he spent on this earth. They were nurtured as well. So I want to bring up first our longest serving council person in the City of Orange Township, North Ward council person, Ted C.
Good morning, everyone. Looks like God brought us a little rain, but that doesn't stop what we're trying to do here today to honor our first black mayor, Robert Brown. I had the opportunity to know him well. I worked with him. And what was so interesting, my husband came home one day and he said, "Do you know Robert Brown?" I said, "Yes." I said, "Yes, I do." He said, "Well, I'm carpooling with his dad." His dad lived down in East Orange, and they both worked for General Motors. So I said, he said, yeah, your wife kind of knows my son. I said, yeah, I know him well. Been working with him for years. And he was a person that fought for what he believed in. And he fought for what he believed in. And he didn't mind speaking his mind and telling you how he felt. So he was a person that stood up for right, and he did the city of Orange good. He did us well. So it was an honor to know him and to work with him. And remember the old Scots on Main Street, on Central Avenue? We used to hang out there once in a while. And the peppermint, back in those days, yes. So, and he would always support the Booster Club. He would come to all of our affairs and make sure he made his presence known. So it was an honor to know him, and today we honor him. And we thank you all for coming out to help us honor him. Thank you.
Thank you, Cynthia Easton. Yeah, Bookie would bring you to the Peppermint Lounge before I was 21. It was a good time. I want to next bring up the person who represents the ward where Robert Brown lived in the South Ward. I bring to you Jamie Summers Johnson, Councilwoman, South Ward.
Greetings, everyone. I had the honor of being hired by Mayor Brown as a lifeguard at about 14 and a half. So I was able to work every summer. I knew that I would have a job, come home from college and have a job. This is a long overdue street naming. We've done a lot of them. And in a predominantly black town, our youth need to know who was the one that broke the door open. A lot of times they just see things already done and they don't know there was a lot of work to get it done. Him being Bookie Brown, I was able to open up a little library in Washington Dodd Apartments. I chose that area because there's way more children than in our area, and I wanted to make sure that new books and nice books were available for our children. So there is a Robert Brown little library in Washington Dodd complex. And again, I'm very happy to be here. The rain didn't stop the show, and I can't wait to see the street name so I can tell my two sons that I'm raising here who this man was and why he's being honored. I feel like we drive down streets. I teach in North. We drive down Irving Turner Boulevard and things like that, and the kids don't know he was the first councilman in that area of African American descent. And I just think we need more history for our kids so they know that there's goals that they could possibly attain. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. One of the newest people elected to the City Council in Orange, at-large Councilman Cliff Ross.
Thank you, Mayor Brown. Thank you, Mayor and Administration, the Brown family.
I consider it a compliment, Cliff. If I can reach that height, I'm all right.
Okay. The Brown family and distinguished guests, thanks for coming out today. Unfortunately, I did not have the pleasure or honor of meeting the late Mayor Robert Brown. I read the resolution and it describes eloquently the type of person he was, okay? It describes the accomplishments and the achievements that he made, okay? And we couldn't ask for a better mayor. Back in the 80s, that was a time where it was unheard of having a black mayor, okay? And he accomplished that. And that opened up the door. He's a pioneer. Opened up the door for other black mayors in other major cities across the United States, across America. So we honor that today by renaming North Day Street Robert Brown Way. And thank you very much for coming out. It's an honor we salute Robert Brown and his family. And this is such a pleasure to be here, and it's well deserved. We will never forget him. Thank you.
Thank you, Cliff Ross. We do have another elected official. I only have time. And I want him to come up and say a word, and then I'm going to close out this section with a word from the mighty former chairperson of East Orange, Catherine Willis, and then I'm going to read a proclamation. Ladies and gentlemen, Assemblyman Thomas P. Giblin.
Good afternoon, brothers and
If I
sisters.
could just, would everyone please mute their microphones? I think we're having some feedback with the family who's listening. So I'm giving.
Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. We're all here for a very festive occasion. On the way over, I was thinking back about mayors of Orange. And I know I'm not the oldest in the room, but I have a lot more interaction, I think, than some of the other folks. But my first recollection of a mayor in Orange was a mayor named Russell Riley. And that's, believe it or not, that's over 60 years ago. And then I remember as a kid being taken to Mayor Nick Franco's home. We used to have a lot of parties, Clifford, of course, Democratic Party, of course, had his home, I think it was on Carteret Place. If my memory serves me right, I think it was 372 Carteret Place. But all the succeeding mayors, John Monica and Carmen Capone, Joel Shane, Paul Monticelli, down the line, even to this day, Dwayne Warren. But I wanted to take this opportunity to say a few words of thanks and recognition to the late great Robert Bookie Brown. When you talk to his peers in the legal profession, he had a great deal of expertise and acumen, and he was a person who was well respected by his colleagues. We all know his commitment on the state level, in the legislature, and then of course his service here in Orange. I think we all recognize Orange, New Jersey, under the leadership of Mayor Warren, is very much on the move. Housing is exploding, economic opportunities are moving forward. Orange, New Jersey, because of its access to the rail lines, is very much a destination city. And Mayor Warren will be one of the first to tell you that a lot of the things that he picked up since his tenure as mayor, he inherited from the legacy of the late Mayor Robert Bookie Brown. I think it's very fitting and appropriate that we have an opportunity to name a street after Bookie Brown. I think it's important, as mentioned before by a previous speaker, that young people following in our footsteps know about the legends that paved the way. And when they look at the background of Bookie Brown, who came from a fairly humble background, but moved himself up the ladder and became a outstanding attorney and a dedicated public servant. This is the type of role model that you want to see as far as people seeing that we need more people like that in our society. I want to thank the Mayor Warren, and the Municipal Council for taking this opportunity to rename North Day Street Bookie Brown Plaza. I remember coming up to North Day Street on different occasions over the years. It used to be air conditioning service across the street. We had a pretty good business. A guy named Neil Sullivan, and then Monteverde, the vending machine man. I remember going to his business. He was right across the street. So there's different names I can think about, as far as people who did business on North Day Street. And now we'll have an opportunity to remember Robert Bookie Brown, a legend in our time. Thank you.
Thank you, Assemblyman Tom Giblin. While Bookie Brown was a mayor, he also was elected to the New Jersey General Assembly. And in order to do that as a Democrat in Essex County, you need the mighty city of East Orange to come to your aid to vote you in. And the chair lady at the time, who set the agenda for our assembly people in this district, was a woman named Chairperson Catherine Willis. We'll hear from her, former chair, Essex Democratic Party, City of East Orange, Catherine Willis.
Good afternoon. I really didn't intend to speak. The Bookie was a dear, dear friend. And I want to commend you, Mayor, and the Orange City Council for doing this. Our children need to learn our history. And as you all know, many of them didn't know a thing about Black Wall Street. Most didn't know anything about Juneteenth. And the Bookie, and we know that he was the first Black mayor. I want you to do one step further. Put a bust out there of him. Something in front of the city hall commending the fact that he was indeed the very first Black man to become the mayor of the city. And changes have been made because of that. We've accomplished much, but we have much more to do. And we have to do that by teaching our youth because they are our tomorrow. Last but not least, I want everyone here to know that the owner of New Jersey Bookstore, which is located on Universal Avenue in Newark, New Jersey, deceased. There are 40,000 hardback brand new books at 550 Broad Street in Newark, New Jersey that they are giving away. And so for your library that you're having, they do need volunteers to come and help categorize and sort them. I was down there yesterday, and they have many interesting books. And they will give them free to churches, to municipalities, to organizations that serve people. And we need to take advantage of that. Books are expensive, and we need to do that. There's 40,000 of them. And I'm going to have a schedule to share with the mayor, and if he can get people to volunteer, even if you don't want to volunteer, if you come to get the books, you have to take 10 at least. 10 at least, and bring your own bag, box, or whatever. And I'm just praying that we get those books into our communities. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I want to beat the weather, so I want us to get up and orderly march over to the sign for the unveiling. Mayor Brown's brother is going to help us unveil. We'll hear a word from Tom Ashley. I'll read a proclamation, and then we're going to unveil over the corners. And as we know, Bookie Brown was not only a politician, a dad, and a community guy, but he was a genius attorney. And one of the people that he worked with most closely is Tom Ashley, and I just want him to give us a word from a legal perspective how great of a person Bob Brown was. Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Ashley, Esquire.
Hi, everybody. I was very fortunate enough to be with Robert Brown when he first decided that he was going to run for the mayor of the city of Orange. So we sat in his living room, and he announced that he was running for public office, and we were all quite astounded. But we knew he had a sense of a definite commitment to public service. So it turned out that he was all that he thought he would be, and probably even more. And I also knew him as a lawyer. I knew him as a lawyer because we tried many cases together. Bob was a very brilliant lawyer. He was a very instinctive lawyer and had a tremendous memory and had a tremendous ability to be involved with the jury and be able to communicate with the jury. And it was a distinctive ability that he had. He also was involved in numerous civil cases. And when I actually got very much busy, I handed my entire civil practice to Robert Brown. That was like 55 cases. I trusted him so much that I dedicated 50 cases to him, and we made a lot of money, and he did a great job. So I'm here to attest to the very important part that Robert Brown was also a great lawyer, but more than anything else, he was my great friend. And so that's probably more important than anything that I've actually said. So thank you all for coming out. And remember, not only as a politician, but one hell of a lawyer. So thank you.
Thank you, Tom Ashley. As the mayor of the city of Orange Township, I have been called to read a resolution designating North Day Street, beginning at Main Street and ending at William Street, as Mayor Robert Brown Way in his memory. I won't read the entire resolution, just to say he was born in 1947 from Alabama. He then came to Orange in 1976. He served in Washington, D.C. on the Watergate Committee. He was a fine lawyer, a good public servant, and he served as mayor of the city of Orange Township and as the assembly person covering this district. He was a man of distinction. He loved his community. He served well. Even in his eldest days, he was still serving and making sure people got good representation and their civil rights were always honored. So therefore, be it resolved that the Municipal Council do designate North Day Street, beginning at Main and ending at William Street, as Mayor Robert Brown Way in memoriam, and I, as Mayor of the City of Orange Township, do proclaim this day, June 26, 2021, as Robert Brown Day throughout the City of Orange. Before we pull this string, Robert Brown's family is here. His brother and his extended family are here, and I would like to hear a word from his brother about his brother.
Thank you for coming out today. I really appreciate it. There's one person I'd like to also make mention of who's not here. That's my brother's son, Remington. He's giving service to the United States Navy at the time, so he can't be with us.
But he is on Zoom.
He's on Zoom. He's probably watching this, and I'm sure he would like to see this dedication for his father. And this is a proud moment for our family as well to see this day. Having a brother in politics and having a brother, it's really an interesting relationship. My brother loved this city a lot, and there are so many times when he would take me out to meet the people in the community. I grew up in East Orange, but being a neighbor next door, I was in the street and with other people and with my brother just as much as a resident here. And coming out and seeing all of your faces and being around the community brings back a lot of memories. And I really wish my parents and my brothers and my family were here to see this time. And this is a really good day for our family. And I'm glad you're here to enjoy it with us as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ask the family to come on in, join the string, grab a string, come on in. Council persons, please come forward. Amy Summers Johnson, where are you? Tennessee, are you there? Cliff Ross. Everybody got it? Ladies and gentlemen,
Here we go.
Mayor Robert L. Brown Way. We just unveiled Mayor Robert L. Brown Way in the city of Orange Township, and two ladies who have served with him in every capacity are here. Ella and Stella, I put them together so I would know I couldn't mess the names up. Tell me about working with Robert Bookie Brown.
Well, when I started working with Mayor Brown, I was a little afraid. And simply because everybody used to say, he's hard to work with. You know, he don't take no stuff. So I went and I was working with him one day. We was having a conversation, and he was going to cry. I said, Bob, what's the matter? He said, El, you just don't know. So I started laughing. I said, you know what? You're a wussy.
Tell me some of the delights that you had to bake as a worker for Robert Brown.
Well, you know, he had a sweet tooth. And he liked my German chocolate cake. He liked my pineapple, all the sweet cakes, my pineapple coconut cake, and especially the pound cake. He said that the pound cake reminded him of his grandmother's cake.
Wow.
Because of being a pound cake. He said, you know, Stella, I know that cake got a lot of butter in it, and that's what I like. So he had a sweet tooth. He was one of the finest a person that we can ever know. He was a great man, and I love Bob Bookie. Yeah, we do.
Outstanding. Those are words to live by. I, too, was mentored by him, and I love Robert Bookie Brown. We're now on the corner of Robert L. Brown Way. What does that mean?
It means that he will be remembered, and because he worked very diligently. I know personally, as his first cousin, coming to the law office, going into the building and being supportive with him through all his campaigns. This is a proud moment for the Moore family. His mother would be, oh my gosh, outstanding. Oh, this is great. This is great. But thank you for remembering. And that's the most important thing, just to remember, and he will be always remembered.
Excellent. Thank you very much. There you heard it from a member of the family. But Kathy Willis. But Mayor Brown got into politics, stayed into politics, and served on the state level, mainly because he had the guidance of people who were political experts. I have one here. Chairlady Catherine Willis Edwards, you were the chair in the city of East Orange. You saw him come into state service.
Yes,
Tell us how exciting that time was when you're doing the Democratic agenda.
Exciting, very, very exciting, and I was blessed to be able to know Bob personally at that time and know the kind of leadership that he was going to give us was the kind of leadership that we needed. And I'm very, very proud. You know, he may have been the mayor of East Orange, but he stayed in East Orange a lot too. You do know that.
Right.
And when he deceased, he was an East Orange resident. Right. And so we are so happy that you all had the forethought to do this. God bless you.
Thank you. That was our former East Orange Democratic Chair, Catherine Willis. I'm here with the close family members of former Mayor Robert Brown. We're at Robert L. Brown Way in the city of Orange Township. Rodney, you were his brother all his life. It's no surprise to you that he served with distinction here in the city of Orange Township, and his name is still golden.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's absolutely correct. It's not a surprise. My brother, he was a high achiever. He put a lot of goals in front of him. He's very ambitious, and it was a blessing to have someone in my family that I can look to for guidance and support, and as an example of how to push forward and achieve some of the goals and dreams that I have for myself.
Thank you. Thank you for representing the family. Young lady, you knew him well.
Yes, I was his sister-in-law.
Now, as a sister-in-law, you're the person that he comes through sometimes for secret advice and guidance. Tell us about Bookie Brown in his private life and how he was also inspiration to younger family members and so forth.
Well, he was his own man, but very gifted. The academics, as far as his being a lawyer. I remember a coworker of mine said she was on the jury. He had everyone in the jury crying. That's how gifted and talented he was. And, we would go over little things about school and so forth because I'm a retired teacher. So he was just a wonderful person and set an example to my sons, Randall. And then this is but he set an example for all of us and achieving as much as they could.
There you have it, the family speaking about the legacy of Robert Bookie Brown. It lives on even in the next generation. We want to thank you all for coming. We're in the city of Orange Township. We're at Robert L. Brown Way, right down the street from City Hall. I'm Mayor Warren. We're signing out. Tom, actually, you talked about the experience and the brilliance of Rob Brown as a lawyer. Tell me some of the feats he was able to achieve in terms of getting people their rights and so forth.
Well, first of all, in terms of his ability as a lawyer, I tried a case for 2 years with Robert Brown in federal court, and everyone's acquitted. And he was just a brilliant lawyer at the time, and of course, always. In terms of his commitment, Bob was someone who never forgot from whence he came. So that he was able to feel the suffering and the needs of the people for whom he served. And that was his dedication, and that was his purpose. And you see just from the things he's accomplished that he really did do a tremendous job at that. His ability as a lawyer was incredible. He was able to have a tremendous memory of facts without ever having read the information but one time.
That's right.
So he had an incredible ability as a lawyer, but more importantly, he was a great person and great man.
There you have it. That sums up the lifetimes and the skill of Robert Bookie Brown. You were a young man when Bookie Brown was mayor coming up.
Yes, sir.
Your mom went ahead and served him after that. Tell me about that kind of influence.
Well, I always knew that Brown was a very intelligent guy. And, just being around, talking to different people, I always heard that the name Bookie came from the fact that he was so intelligent. He always read, and he was a hell of an orator. They said that he got in that courtroom, man, and he just took over.
That's right. That's right.
So that was something I always knew about Mr. Brown, and just him being around, being a family friend, and going to the law office he had up here on Main Street.
That's right.
And,
Right in the community.
Yeah. So, and I mean, believe it or not, I actually walked on this campaign, and I campaigned for him, just like I did with you too.
Sir, yes,
So
sir.
I'm a
Tell me about how this influenced you and some of the lessons that you taught to your son, who also was an A student and excelled academically.
I feel that, especially in the black community, where there's a lack of strong male role models, someone like Mr. Brown was somebody who, like you said, influenced me, and I in turn influenced my son. Always stressed the value of education, getting your schoolwork done no matter what's going on, and keeping your eye on the prize.
That's right.
And I think that's something that Mr. Brown did, something you did, and like you said, my son and your son too. He just recently graduated from Howard, so we're just keeping the new generation. We're keeping those guys going.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, good to
Appreciate
see
you. All right.
Sure.
Al, I don't know where to start. I came into office. You were there guiding me. Bookie was in office. You gave guidance to him as both a mayor and a friend.
Excuse me, Bookie gave me guidance. I didn't give Bookie any guidance. Seriously, he was a strong mayor and very dedicated, and I loved the guy, man. I tell you, he was a wonderful friend, and for me, I grew up since I was like 13 years of age with Bob.
Wow.
So we went through a lot of things together through this lifespan, and it was really a tragic when Bob left. I mean, even till this day, I mean, I feel somewhat saddened that he's not here.
That's right.
to see this. But in short, thank God for having Robert L. Brown. Okay.
Thank you, brother. Thank you too. We're here in the shadows of Robert L. Brown Way, right down the street from City Hall. I am with Cliff Ross, who's our newest elected councilperson, and South Ward Councilwoman Jamie Summers Johnson. Councilman Summers Johnson, you lived in that ward. Bookie Brown gave you a shot as a teenager. Tell me how it feels to look back now and honor him in this way.
Well, as the first African-American South Ward councilwoman, I'm just glad that we're finally telling our history. I'm glad that the person that gave me my first shot as a lifeguard at about 14 and a half, that used to come to the pool, swim with his son, is finally being acknowledged right in front of City Hall. And I think that Orange Public Schools should do something on it so those students know who broke the door open for the different Mayor Hackett, for our current Mayor Warren. So I'm very happy on this day.
Thank you, Jamie Summers Johnson. Councilman Cliff Ross, you didn't get to serve with him, but tell me, in the wake of his legacy, what are you seeing now as a newly elected council person that's driving us to make sure that we're moving towards excellence?
Well, again, thank you, Mayor. I did not have the pleasure of knowing the late Robert Brown, but I did read all about him. I read about his accomplishments and his achievements. And as I mentioned earlier, the first black mayor of Orange in the 80s. That's a major, major accomplishment. And also, he opened the doors for other black mayors in other urban cities around, Essex County and across America. And that's a great thing. And, our youngsters who seeing this video should be proud and glad and should be honored by what we're doing here today, remembering him as the first black mayor of Orange. Thank you.
There you have it. It's official. This is Robert L. Brown Way at the corner of William and Day Street in the city of Orange Township. It is meant to honor a person who served with distinction, who was fearless in upholding the civil rights of all people, and who was committed to making sure that the city of Orange Township thrived. They were at the top of the agenda in state and in federal politics. We'll miss him forever. He was a dear mentor of mine, but I'll always keep the lessons that he taught, especially those where he said, stay true to the people. I'm Mayor Warren. This is Robert L. Brown Way. We're in the city of Orange Township.